Hi everyone, welcome back. This is the full lesson walkthrough for lesson 9, combining inputs and outputs. I guess minus the assessment because I did that on a separate video, and minus the challenges. Let's get started here. Level 1 is a predict, and it says combining inputs and outputs. This level doesn't contain any new code. Instead, it combines several new concepts you've seen over the last few lessons. Read through the code, then respond to the following prompts. Identify one way you think the screen is being used for either input or output, and identify one way you think the circuit playground is being used for either input or output by the user. Let's take a look at the code. We have two onboard events, one for pushing the left button down and one when we push the right button down. If we push the left button down, we're going to set the text of the light label to on, and this is the light label, so it's going to change from off to on. And then we create an LED type variable. We get the value from the LED dropdown, so that's going to be either blink or pulse. If it's blink, then we blink these 4 LEDs. If it's pulse, then we pulse those 4 LEDs. Pushing the right button down just turns the LEDs off. So to identify inputs and outputs, the screen is being... I said the screen is being used as an output by indicating whether the LEDs are on or off. The screen is being used as an input by taking the value from the LED dropdown, whether that be blink or pulse. The circuit playground is being used as an output by either blinking or pulsing 4 LEDs. The circuit playground is being used as an input by capturing button presses with onboard events. Okie doke. I guess we could run it, see if it works. Pulse. Press the left button down. And we're pulsing. And change it to blink. We're blinking. Turn it off. Good deal. Moving on. Okay, level 2, using the circuit playground. Here's the same code you saw in the last level, but this time there's another drop-down menu to control the buzzer. You'll have to add the code to make it work. Using the LEDs as a model, add variables and an if statement to play a long or short buzz. Okay, do this. Find the section of the code that says add your code here. Get the value from the dropdown and store it in a variable. Add a var x equals and get property block to get the value from the buzzer dropdown element. So that's going to be identical to line 3 here. So add your code here, get the value from the dropdown, and we need a get property. We called the variable up here LED type. I'm going to call this buzz type, and we're going to get the value from the buzzer dropdown stored in buzz type. Use 2 if statements to check the value from the dropdown. Okay. So those 2 values are short buzz and long buzz. So if buzz type equals equals, make sure you're using equals equals. And this, I believe, should be in quotes, short buzz. And you have to spell it exactly as it appears here. And, you know, including capitalization, spelling, and the space. So be aware of that. And then down here, if buzz type equals long buzz. And then we're going to play the sound with the buzzer according to what they chose. So we got to put a couple of buzzer blocks in here. And a short buzz, duration of, let's say, 200 milliseconds. Long buzz, we'll say 1,000 or 1 second. Wait a second. Oh, look at that. I already had this done previously. Did I do it the same way? I called it buzz length instead of buzz type. Ha! Delete my solution from last term. That's funny. Okay, that should do it. Let's run this. And I want to pulse and do a long buzz. Nice. I want to blink and do a short buzz. Totally works. Nice. Let's move on. So we move on to sliders. Last time your users were only able to choose between a short and a long buzz. To give the user control over the exact duration of the buzzer, you'll want to use a slider. This slider lets users choose a value between 100 and 1,000 for the duration of the buzz, but there's something not quite right about how it's working. Look over the code and find the bug that's keeping the duration from being set correctly. Hint, hover over the yellow triangles for clues. So duration is defined, but it's not called in your program. So that means we're not using the variable below, the variable duration below. And this says buzzer duration hasn't been declared yet, so there's no var statement for buzzer duration. So that should tip us off that we didn't use our variable name. So we just need to change this to duration. And that, I believe, should take care of it. Long, short. Long, short. Okay, moving on. Okay, so the buzzer controller, and now we deal with frequency. The buzzer controller has been expanded to control frequency as well, but the code isn't finished yet. So do this. Using the duration variable as a model, create a frequency variable that gets the value from the frequency slider design element. So it's going to look exactly like line 2 here. Grab one of these, call it frequency. Got property from the frequency slider. We want the value. And then modify the line of code that makes the buzzer sound so that it uses the frequency variable rather than the default frequency of 500. So that's line 6 here now. And instead of 500, we're going to use frequency. Let's see if that worked. We'll go with a long buzz of high frequency. Short buzz of high frequency. Short buzz of low frequency. Long buzz of low frequency. All right, let's move on to the next one. Here we go. I like this assignment because there's no new material. We're just applying what we've already learned. So this is about the change event. Let's see if we can use a slider to change how fast our LEDs will blink. We'll use the change event so the lights are updated right away instead of pressing a button. On do this, we get the value from the slider and store it in a variable. Let's do that. So that will be, let's call it blink speed. And this slider is called interval, so we need to get the value of interval stored in blink speed. And then update the blink blocks to use the slider variable, so we just need to blink it at blink speed. So we can just take this and copy it down. Let's give it a try. Slow blink speed, long blink speed. And it changes as we change the slider because we used the change event. Good deal. Done. Moving on. Oh, there's 5 practice levels. Yikes. All right, let's do the first one. Left versus right. Use a drop down to control the left or right side of the LEDs. This says left versus right lights. Create an app that controls whether the left or right side of the circuit playground is turned on. The app uses a drop down to select the left or right side. And then the user presses the left button on the circuit playground to activate the lights. Cool. Do this. Get the value from the drop down and store it in a variable. That's called the LED drop down. We're going to call the variable which side. Got property, LED drop down, value. If the value is left, turn on the left LEDs and turn off the right LEDs. If the value is right, turn on the right LEDs and turn off the left LEDs. We need 2 ifs. And then we use our variable here, if which side equals left, in quotes. And this one is going to be if which side equals right, in quotes. We need, okay, so If it's left, turn on the left LEDs. So we need 5 color LEDs .on blocks. And the left side is LEDs 0 through 4. And we should be able just to copy these down. And right is 5 through 9. But we can't forget that if we turn on the left ones, we got to turn off the right ones. So we need 5 color LEDs .off blocks. And that would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll copy these down. Change this to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that should take care of it. Let's give it a try here. Right, left button, turns on the right ones. Change the drop down to left, turns on the left, turns off the right. Looks like it's working. Okay, next level, next practice is intensity of the bedside nightlight. Okay, the bedside nightlight. Create an app that lets you change the intensity of your LEDs using a slider. The user can press the left button to turn on the lights, and the right to turn them off. They can use the slider to adjust the intensity. So first we need to get the value from the slider, and then we're going to set the LEDs to the intensity. Okay, we can do that. ID is intensity, slider. So this is no different than what we've been doing all along here. We'll call our variable intensity. We'll get the value from the intensity slider and store it in there. Then we need to set all the LEDs to the new intensity value. Okay. So we'll need 10 color LEDs.intensity blocks here. And we're going to set all those to the value that we stored in the variable. See if it works. And that uses the change event. So as soon as we change this, we should see them dim or brighten as long as we've pushed the L button to turn them on first. Dim them down. All the way bright. Yep. Awesome. Next. Okay, the LED color drop down. Create an app that lets the user select the color of the LEDs using a drop-down menu. We're going to get the value from the drop-down, stored in a variable, and then we're going to update the color of each LED. I'm going to call my variable LED color. We're going to get the value of the color drop-down stored in there. Then we need 9 LED color LEDs.color blocks. And we're going to use our LED color variable for each of those arguments. I should have just done it like this. There we go. One more. I think that'll do it. Run. Make them green, make them blue, orange. That's a yellowish orange. It doesn't do orange real well. Or maybe it's that I'm colorblind. All right, done. Next. Oh God, it's the beach vacation alarm clock. You know, if I'm on a beach vacation, I'm not setting an alarm clock. This doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, this says create an app that lets you customize how an alarm clock looks and sounds when it goes off. There are 2 settings, quiet and loud. The quiet setting plays a low frequency and displays teal lights. The loud setting displays a higher frequency and displays red lights. The app has already been started for you with the quiet section complete. Your task is to complete the first line of code with the variable and then add a new if statement for the loud section. Okay. So do this. Get the value from the drop-down on the screen. That is the settings drop-down. So we just need to put in a get property from the settings drop-down. We want the value. And then use an if statement to play the high-pitched note and turn all LEDs red. So we can just we can just copy this down here, change quiet to loud, and change teal to red. Okay, I think that'll do it. Let's try it out. Except I didn't change the frequency. The frequency is supposed to be high here. Oh, let's go to 900. Yay. Did I change it in the wrong place? I changed it in the wrong place. Back to 200 here for teal and 900 for red. Works. Okay, next one, almost done. Okay, debugging exercise. This program is supposed to control the LED and buzzer, but it has some problems. See if you can debug the code to make it work correctly. You only need to update the code that's already in the level. You don't need to add new code, which is good. Do this, turning on the LED. What I expected to happen, selecting an option from the dropdown and opening the toggle switch will update the red LED. And what happened instead was not all of the options are working correctly. Let's take a look. When I open the toggle switch, we're going to get the value from the LED dropdown and the value from the speed slider. If the LED type is on, it goes on. Blink, it blinks. Pulse, it pulses. So when I look at this, it makes me wonder if these options are different. I'm going to go to the design tab and hit this LED drop down, and notice my options are on, blink, and pulse, but blink, they're all lowercase, so that's one problem. So blink, we're going to change from capital to lowercase, and it looks like I don't see other errors. Let's run that and see what happens. Blink slow, open the toggle. Nothing. Okay. I don't see an error here. I'm wondering if I need to reset my controller. I'm going to try that. You know, I am seeing a little action here on this because it's the tiny red LED, right? And it's only going on for a second. I think that we have to debug the rest of this to make it work, because notice that when we change the toggle switch, it turns the LED off. So what I expected to happen was closing the toggle switch turns the LED, turns off the red LED. So instead of change, this should be close. And controlling the buzzer, pressing left button plays the buzzer. Duration, frequency, they have them swapped. Duration is getting frequency, frequency is getting duration. So this should be whoops. This should be duration select. Come on. Why can't I change that? There we go. I think that's gonna do it. Blink fast. There's a fast blink. It's so fast it just looks like it's on. Let's dial this down. Slow. Blink slow. There it goes. Blink even slower. Okay. We'll do a long buzz at a high frequency, and that's if I press L. We'll do a short buzz at a low frequency. The The min and max on this frequency slider need to be adjusted, but oh, nope. I have these switched. Holy cow. This should be frequency. This should be duration. All right, let's try a long and low buzz. Long, high, short, high, short, low. Got it. Wow, that was kind of a tough one. And that'll do it for levels 1 through 6. Again, I did solve the assessment on a different video. You can check that out if you want. And we're not doing the challenges this time. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.